Artists need structure. Every painter has a canvas. Every musician works with the same notes. Every poet has their language. And so we all have structure that we need as artists. And when you see people have chased money into the detriment of that passion, they're unhealthy, they are depressed, they turn to alcohol and they turn to drugs and they turn to, why do you think even our divorce rates are so high in the world right now? It's because in this video, I want to talk about one of the biggest fundamental conflicts that people have in life that holds them back, which is, should I chase my passion or chase the money? And this is ingrained into our society as being a conflict that we must decide and choose between. If you look at all of our movies, the movies are telling us that chasing money is greedy, that actually going after financial prosperity is done by greedy, evil people who are going to do bad things with the money, and that if you want to pursue your passion, you're probably going to be broke. And the artist that stays in integrity doesn't have it work out and struggles to make ends meet and pay their bills, while meanwhile, the person who only cares about the money is willing to step on everybody on their way to the top. This is such a common archetype on both ends of the spectrum and portrayed in our movies. What it does is it creates this logical fallacy of combining the pursuit of money as being out of integrity. And when that happens, suddenly we can't separate the two. And so you have to make a choice. Do I want to be in integrity or do I want to make money? And this belief is a fundamental block to you living the life of your dream. And I just want to say as a side note here that it would be good for the planet to have good people have more money. Seriously, think about that for a moment. Good people with more money are going to be more generous. They're going to start businesses that are good for the planet. They're going to support people and causes that are helpful to more of us. And yet, when good people have this logical fallacy inside of themselves and feel like it's out of integrity to want money, the only people that are left pursuing money and therefore getting the money are the bad people. The people who are going to be selfish with it, the people who are going to step on people to get to the top. The reason why that's such a common archetype and stereotype that we see is because they don't have any fear of saying, I want more money. But good people with more money is good for the planet. So if you're watching this, one, I think that you're a good person. I hope that you're a good person that wants to be generous and you want to make more money so you can be even more of a lighthouse on this planet right now because we need you. And I want to help you understand how you can merge these two seemingly opposite perspectives that have been ingrained in us since we've been little kids and passed down to us from generational trauma, and recognize that the fundamental block that you need to remove is that belief that chasing money is bad. And when you start to remove that block, you are able to dissect and cut apart this idea of integrity and money, and you can see that you can do both. You can actually pursue money in an integrous way. And this is why removing blocks is the very starting point of my artistic entrepreneurship program. It is the reason why I make these videos. It's the reason why I have my Creative Path podcast, is because we need to develop awareness of what's blocking us in order for us to be able to make change and become a vibrational match. When we shift these beliefs inside of ourselves, suddenly we have a deeper level of alignment. And when we have that deeper level of alignment, we become embodied in a particular way of being. That embodiment creates a magnetism. That magnetism attracts, through the law of attraction, what it is that we desire. The life that you desire, the life of fulfillment, the life of joy, the life of financial prosperity is possible for you when you start to see and remove these blocks. And so starting there is what we do in the entire first month and throughout the process of the Artistic Entrepreneur Program, which if you're interested in knowing more about that 5-month program, check out the link in the description of this video. And it's application only, but I would love to have you if it feels like it's the right fit. And so once we've removed that, we now are able to see that we don't have to choose between passion or money, but we can turn our passion into the way that we make money. We can turn our passion, our inner artistry, our creativity, which by the way, our creative energy is our life force energy, which means that you are now able to take the unique life force energy that you have and turn it into the way that you create prosperity for you and your family. And when you create that symbiotic relationship with life, where you are being rewarded energetically for your unique creative energy that you are birthing into the world, you create I don't even know how to put it into words. There's a fulfillment, there's a wholeness, there's a excitement, there's a completion of a cycle that you have been born to live out. And when you see people have chased money into the detriment of that passion, they're unhealthy, they are depressed, they turn to alcohol and they turn to drugs and they turn to, why do you think even our divorce rates are so high in the world right now? It's because people have turned a blind eye to what actually fulfills them, because they've been convinced, you've been convinced that somehow you can't have both. And so you are absolutely able to turn your passion into the way that you make money, and you're able to do that through 3 key elements. You need to find, first and foremost, what you love to do. That is getting really in tune with your inner artist. That first element. What is the part of you that has a passion? What is the part of you that feels lit up about something? For me, my spoken word poetry was a huge unlock. Before that, my acting was a huge unlock. Currently, supporting people by combining inner artistry and inner entrepreneurship is a huge unlock to a level of fulfillment. And you can feel it in these videos, the excitement, the passion, the energy that arises when I tap into what I love to do. And so many people get disconnected. Maybe you've gotten disconnected from what you actually love and don't ask that question anymore. What do I really love? What brings me joy? In favor of the question that we're told to ask, which is, what should my career be? What's realistic? How can I make the most money? And we're not taught at a young age to really sit and just value what we love. And so it's at the heart of your fulfillment. The inner artist is your fulfillment. Having the heart of an artist will bring you fulfillment and joy. And that's when you start to look at that second key element, which is what you are good at. And what you are good at is where you need external feedback. Do you want to know what all the Creative Path podcast guests have in common? They have found a way to monetize their creativity. They have found a way to earn a living doing something that they love, where they are rewarded for the uniqueness of them. And that is a key pillar to living a joyful and fulfilled life. You have to earn a living doing something that you enjoy. And so if you are an artist, a creative, an entrepreneur, a coach who is wanting to scale your impact and scale your income through your unique creative expression, then I want to invite you to check out the description of this video so that you can find a link to my blueprint that I have used to generate hundreds of millions of views on my content and millions of dollars in revenue. This will give you a clear step-by-step understanding of how you can do exactly the same. All right, back to the show. You actually need to move outside of just purely what makes me happy as my inner artist into what am I good at by reading the external feedback of putting what I love into action. And think about it, I was an actor in Los Angeles. Imagine if I had just said, I'm so good at acting, but all I'd ever done is acted with my stuffed animals in my bedroom. How would I actually know I'm good? You got to be willing to get in the game. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and do acting classes and plays and short films. And then you start to see through the feedback of people wanting to work with you more, through the feedback of people who see what you did and are able to tell you what they thought. You're able to see through the opportunities that arise. You're able to see that you're good and know that you're good. And there's something that shifts and switches inside of yourself when it goes from a conceptual idea that you're good into a known commodity. You know you are good, you know you have value, you know you have a craft, you know you have something to offer. It shifts you. It gives you purpose. You walk through the world with a confidence that cannot be faked. And so one of the main ways that people sabotage themselves in an attempt to protect your ego is you don't actually put yourself out there. You reserve yourself, you don't put yourself in the game so that you could tell yourself, well, I'm good. I know it. I just haven't decided yet. And I have an example actually that has haunted me to this day, and now I'm turning it into value for other people and value for myself because it's a regret that I have. I don't have many, but I was a wrestler in high school, and I was a really good wrestler. I was captain of my team, varsity, and on the Arizona national team. And I remember a few instances of these really big matches, really important tournaments. And there were moments during the match, and you know, they go so fast, but in your head, they all slow down. And when I think back on it, it's so slow, where I can see the opportunity to take a shot, the opportunity to make a move. And I held back. I held myself back from going all in and giving it 100%. And I lost those matches. I can think of at least 2, probably more. And because I held back and I lost, what it did for me, how it served me, is I remember thinking afterwards, I would have won if. I would have won if I had taken that shot. Think about it through like basketball. If I had taken that final shot, I would have won, but I passed it instead. I would have made it. This is a way that we protect our ego. This is a way that we convince ourselves that the image we have of how good we are is actually true, when in reality, we don't fully know. And that's a sabotage mechanism. It's a protection mechanism that so many people have. Can you relate to that? Do you have those areas in your life? It doesn't have to be sports. It could be the job offer you didn't take, the opportunity to move across the world to pursue something, a dream that you didn't take, the girl you didn't ask out, who's now married with kids and you secretly still stalk her Facebook page, wondering what could have been. Don't give in to the sabotage. Prove it to yourself. Know how good you are by being willing to put yourself out there and get that external feedback. And then once you have embraced what you really love and that passion, and once you know what you are really good at, we can go into that third element, which is what people would pay for. And what people will pay for is where we step into the entrepreneurial mind. And I want to give you a shift in perspective, because a lot of people think about the entrepreneurial mind and what people would pay for only through the lens of money. This idea that the entrepreneur only cares about money. I want to shift that for you. A conscious entrepreneur only cares about value. How much value can I give to someone? Because if I can give that amount of value, people will happily pay as an exchange of value. And if I know that I'm over delivering value, I know that those one-time customers and purchases become lifelong fans. And you can make millions of dollars with one social media platform with less than 5,000 Instagram followers if they are loyal fans who will pay you consistently for the value you have to offer. I know because I did it. I made $1 million as a coach before I ever crossed 5,000 Instagram followers. And so the entrepreneurial mind is looking through the lens of value. How do I provide more value? How do I over-deliver value? Who do I know I can deliver value to? And that mindset is actually your inner masculine, and that inner masculine wants to provide structure. And where a lot of people get hung up is they think that artists want no structure. That's incorrect. Artists need structure. Every painter has a canvas. Every musician works with the same notes. Every poet has their language. And so we all have structure that we need as artists. Right now, the artistry of this film that I'm making has a camera that I need to speak into. If I get up and get over here, you have no idea what I've just abandoned my structure. I'm working within the structure even of a frame in this shot. And within that, I have freedom to be me. The artist can come out and play on the canvas. And so we got to release this idea that artists don't want structure. Artists actually need structure. And what the entrepreneur does, when you have your entrepreneur mindset that you've brought into harmony because you've released that inner conflict around passion and money, then you invite in this entrepreneur that creates business structure for the artist to come into and play. to unleash all of the passion and love and creativity into the structure of the business as the canvas. And that business structure actually has 3 parts that I want you to think about, okay? The first part of the business structure where the artist can come play is leads. How do you attract people into your business, into your ecosystem? Primarily these days, that's done through content. What is the content that you are producing? And that should be a very easy way for you to see that the artist can come play. The artist can come in to the content design and say, what is the creative way that I can create? Like, let me do a poem. Let me play characters. If you see my Instagram, I'm doing all these things. What are the creative ways that I can deliver a message that is about delivering value, not sleazy sales techniques, but that inner entrepreneur that's been healed and integrated is saying, hey, how do we deliver the most value? And the artist is like, leave it to me. I got it. And then we now move into that second phase of the business structure, which is the actual product. And this is where the artist can come in and play and say, what is the most creative way that we feel so passionate about to help people? How can I deliver the most amount of value inside of this product in a way that feels fulfilling, in a way that harnesses the uniqueness of who I am, in a way that encourages me to think outside the box and make something that's truly unique? That's incredibly fulfilling to an artist, to come up with a unique, creative way to deliver value. And it's also the thing that will make your product incredibly successful. It'll make it stand out. And so you have the leads, and then that leads them into the product, and then you go into the third part of this business structure that is about sales. Every artist's like worst nightmare, sales. I don't want to sell. I just want to be free. Let the art speak for itself. I just want to put out my art and then be recognized for my mastery. I don't want to have to sell anything. What is sales? What is sales actually about? Sales is about trust and value. If someone trusts you and they see the value, they will pay you. Plain and simple. And so now we talk about what are the ways in which you can build the trust and value with your potential clients artistically, creatively, uniquely. What is the way that you invite in your inner artist into the sales process? How could you do that? In my own business, when I think about how I can creatively get into sales conversations, I think about the cool workshops that I get to do. I get to think about the design of taking something where I might be talking about my artistic entrepreneurship program, for example. It's like, okay, we could do it in a very traditional salesy way, and we could just do it like this, but what if we created these really fun metaphors around how to grow an audience as if we were dating them? What if building an audience was seen through the lens, becoming marriage material, and closing a sale was like getting married? And so what would that look like when we first encounter each other? And I don't want to come across as, like a social media fuckboy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. I want to come across as marriage material. I need to capture your interest right away. That seems very similar to a hook at the beginning of content piece. Does that make it salesy? Or does that make it just the way that we initiate actual rapport and connection? And the more artistically, creatively I do that, the more interested you're going to be. And then you and I, we might get married someday. And so you can see that you can bring so much fun, so much play into this experience. You can bring so much enjoyment, and that allows your inner artist the safety of a container to play within. And it allows the inner entrepreneur to not feel judged by your inner artist and actually lean into building something magnificent and powerful and impactful. And by doing that, you will be financially rewarded for it. And you will become a permission slip. You will become an example of what it looks like to be an artistic entrepreneur. Someone who has done the work to remove that huge block that so many people have and become a shining example of what it looks like to have your inner artist, your inner entrepreneur inside of yourself, working in harmony, creating a magnetism that will attract all of your success to you. All the people who want to work with you, all the collaborations, all the invitations to speak on stages around the world, all of that is available to you by doing this work. By seeing that chasing the passion or chasing the money are not two mutually exclusive things. They can be one and the same, and it starts by healing that relationship within yourself. And so if this is the journey that you are on and you are ready to heal that inner relationship between your artist and your entrepreneur, you are ready to have both passion and money in your life so that you can live a life of fulfillment and joy, then I encourage you to check out my 5-month Artistic Entrepreneur Program. It's application only, but there is a link in the description of this video for you to apply. And I encourage you to check out more of my videos about how to actually heal this inner relationship in a really good way, not just for you, but for all the people that are waiting to get value from you. Thank you so much. I want to remind you that always, in all ways, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time. If you are interested in building a life that you love through the 3 pillars of relationship, business, and creativity, then I encourage you to continue checking out more of my content, including this video, which I really think that you will like.
So again, I like to incorporate freedom and structure, right? I think they're both paramount in terms of the creative process. Like, because people want to be free spirits, but that can also be chaotic, right? So
the space that we're occupying within the space is entirely up to our perception of our own limitations, constraints, etc.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, we can decide to expand beyond those constraints.
I like to have that balance of the two. Freedom is you remove constraints, that gives birth to possibility, and that generates creative inspiration, but then also having that structure that is dedicated.